I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Okay, consider this video a public service announcement. As you guys know, I've told you, I get so much stuff that comes across my desk here from developers, from other realtors trying to sell assignments or new condos that they've got on the market. I got, again, a ton of stuff from developers. My office sends me stuff all the time, newspaper articles and things that are in the news on development and pre-sales and new developments. So I get a lot of this stuff, and every now and again, as you guys know, I'll use some of this material for my video blog here. So this is one that I want to tell you guys about here that I want you to be careful with here, that I've seen now getting inundated. I've been getting inundated with unsolicited spam on this master plan community that's going to be built out in central Burnaby. I took a quick look. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere off Highway 1 in central Burnaby. So I'm not going to give you guys the exact specifics on it because I don't need to. You'll get the gist from what I'm telling you, nor the marketing company that's pumping the tires on this or anything else. I'm going to speak in generalities here a little bit about what they're trying to sell here and what I think of it. First off, the opinions expressed in this video I'm going to do are that of me, Owen Bigland, realtor with 30 plus years experience. I'm top producer in Vancouver, top producer at Macdonald Realty for the last 8 years, sell hundreds of condos, work with hundreds of clients, buying, selling. I sell everything. Luxury detached homes, luxury condos, one bed studios, duplexes, you name it. So, give you the gist of it here. This I've been inundated with. This is kind of the ad copy, and this was also in the Vancouver Sun real estate section. And they make these things look like it's an editorial, like an article, but it's really a paid advertisement. And this is kind of how it went here. This is the title of this in the Vancouver Sun. New emerging homeownership option is leading to more accessible homes in Metro Vancouver. Goes on to say, dreaming of owning a home in Metro Vancouver, but not sure which opportunity is right for you? A growing number of buyers are turning to leasehold ownership, a surging trend that's making home ownership more attainable in some of the city's most desirable locations. So, my personal opinion on this, turning to leasehold as a surging alternative, I don't see that. I'm sorry, I disagree with that, but maybe I'm wrong, and I'm waiting for you guys to give me some comments on this as well. Over the past few years, there's been, again, a surge of popular leasehold communities developed across Metro Vancouver, including Boardwalk in Tawasin, Seymour Village in North Vancouver, and the university neighborhoods of SFU and UBC. What sets leasehold ownership apart from traditional home ownership structure? And why are so many homeowners opting for it? To break it down, we talk to, and then they go into the marketing company that's going to, tell you about this development. But it goes on to say that, leasehold is generally 10 to 20% less than traditional real estate, freehold, where you own the land. It goes on, leasehold is a great way to break into the market, and you can expect the same you can expect the same appreciation as freehold. Leasehold is a newer proposal. You still own the home. Anyways, it goes on to say, you still own the home. It's a great alternative. It's surging in popularity. It sells for 10 to 20% less than freehold, and it gives you the same appreciation. Well, boy, I've got lots of experience, guys, selling leasehold. Now, as you guys know, I've talked about leasehold in many blogs over the years. Go into my archives and you'll see how I feel about leasehold. I do not like it. Never have, never will. Before I even got into the real estate business, I knew about leasehold from my father and some of my mentors. I can tell you guys, I have never represented a buyer on a leasehold property, and I never will, ever. Sorry. I just don't believe in the product. Now, I have represented the seller in some leasehold properties, getting them out of these leaseholds, selling them. A lot of them is, I've told you guys, I've got a couple of trustees, large trustees who are a couple of my biggest selling clients. And I've sold over the years probably a dozen or so leasehold homes through the trustee. Those have been in South Falls Creek in Vancouver, UBC, Richmond, Tawasin. I've sold them all over the place. I've also sold with individual sellers that have contracted me to sell a leasehold home. So go into my archives and you'll see the stories on these. With leasehold, as you guys know, first off, they sell 10 to 20% less than freehold. No, I mean, yeah, out at UBC Westbrook Village they do. Although I think that they should sell, in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion, sell far less than that. But that's just my opinion. In my experience selling leasehold property, they sell way below what freehold is when you go to sell them. You might buy them not much further under leasehold, but when you go to sell them, yikes, it's usually substantially below. You know, I can give you guys a few examples here. I mean, downtown Vancouver West End, there's some leasehold stuff that I've sold, and I'll give you an example of one here coming up at the end. A typical one bedroom that's a freehold condo in that neighborhood might sell for $650,000, $700,000. You can buy a leasehold property in that same neighborhood for around $375,000. Now, the reason why there's a big gap is with freehold, you do not own the land. It's on a lease that ticks down year after year. It could be on a 75-year lease, a 99-year lease. Of course, some of the older ones might have 20, 30 years left on the lease because they're 40 or 50 years old. It all depends. So remember, guys, when it comes to real estate, this is why I don't sell leasehold, is because it defeats the whole purpose of buying real estate. When you buy a condo, as you know, you own that unit, the structure. Then you also own a percentage with the other owners of that parcel of land that the tower is sitting on. Well, a good example of this would be your tax assessment every year. Take a look at your tax assessment on your condo. It breaks it down to building or structure and then the land. Well, every year you'll notice, if you break out your older assessments, the building or the structure goes down every year like clockwork, pretty much, because it's getting older. It's depreciating. The land, on the other hand, in good years, continues to go up. That's where you get the appreciation, is on the dirt. That's what you're buying with real estate, is the dirt. That's the value. Well, with leasehold, and these leaseholds are usually on native lands, you do not get that appreciation on the dirt. That appreciation, as the lease ticks down, becomes less and less valuable every year, as does the structure that it's sitting on. So when it says here that you get the same appreciation as freehold, I'm sorry, maybe that's what these guys are saying, but I will politely disagree with that. I have never seen that. I'll give you guys another example. I had a sale out at UBC Westbrook Village about 3 years ago. The son contacted me. This was his mother's place. She had bought it 10 years prior, paid about $900,000 for it. It was a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, really nice unit, right in Westbrook Village. Big, 1,400 square foot, 2 parking. It was a concrete construction. She bought it 10 years prior for approximately, let's just call it $900,000. I listed it for, I think, around $950,000. I reduced it multiple times. It was a very difficult sale. Took me about, I think, close to 100 days to sell it. I think I ended up selling it for $915,000. And she owned it for 10 years. So virtually no appreciation at all. None. Zero. Now, by comparison, if this woman would have bought a 2-bed or a 3-bed in the west side of Vancouver, in Kitsilano or Dunbar or some area like that, for $900K, after 10 years, I probably would have sold that for $1.2, $1.3 all day long, and it would have been, if it was the right unit, would have been a very quick sale, probably under 30 days. That's leasehold, guys. Because you don't own the land, it depreciates every year along with the structure. So for that reason, I have to disagree with a lot of what's in here. I don't think leasehold option is surging by any means. Sure, they're building some leasehold stuff. The bit of leasehold stuff here now that's being built across the Broad Street Bridge, that's not leasehold. That's going to be rental. It's on native land. But again, so let's take a look at the prices. I went and dug up the price sheet on these. It wasn't on these articles. A studio's 375 square feet, starting at $399 plus GST. Junior 1 beds at 517 square feet, starting at $499, and 1 bed 625 square feet, $579. leasehold. You don't own the land here, guys. So I'll give you an example. I just sold a brand new condo. I won't give you all the details, in the Richmond Center. Brand new. It was a trustee sale for me. 1 bed, 1 bath, concrete with parking for $610,000, and that was inclusive of GST. Included the GST. That is freehold, built by Shape, Cadillac Fairview, right on SkyTrain in downtown Richmond. For $610,000, same price as this in central Burnaby off Highway 1 on leasehold land that won't be built for another 5 years or so. What am I missing, guys? But again, this is marketing, this is real estate. Some people are going to be buying these, but I think what I advise everyone to do when it comes to pre-sale, and especially pre-sale that is on leasehold native land, go to the display center, have a look at the fancy display center there, get the price sheet, have a look at what you're getting on a price per square foot basis, and then hire a realtor, a good realtor, and then have him or her show you some tangible product that is freehold, that you own the dirt, you own the structure, and do the comparison for yourself, plus no GST on the tangible stuff, where you've got 5% GST, and I don't know how many years this thing is going to take. This is like a massive master plan community. It's going to be thousands of units. It's going to be a city in itself. So I think it's going to be done in stages over a decade or more. But yikes, it just is not there is no value proposition with that. Now, if these 1 beds were selling at $300K for 600 square feet, I don't know, I still wouldn't buy it. But maybe there is a value proposition where it sells at half of what Freehold is selling at. But for right now, there is brand new units that are 3-4 months old, just got keys. I just sold one for $610,000. 600 square feet, concrete in Richmond Center with the GST included. It's going to be less than this. And this is freehold. So listen, if you really want to take advantage of this, the growing number of homeowners that are getting into leasehold properties, and it's accessible and it's the way to go, and you think it's going to appreciate the same, then I've got some deals for you. What I would say is, rather than pay $600,000 out in central Burnaby for something that's not built yet, there are some really high quality leasehold units in the West End here in Vancouver. So I've got one coming up pretty soon on Comox, and there's a bunch in this building. It's a concrete high-rise, about 45 years old, west of Denman. So this is the best of the best of real estate. If this was a condo building, these 1 beds would be selling at $700 for these older 1 beds. This is the best of the best. You can buy in this building right now, concrete, 20th floor, I just looked one up, $385 with parking. And for $400, you can buy pretty much a fully renoed one with water views of English Bay. For $400,000, west of Denman, best real estate money can buy. That is the A+ real estate. Tree-lined streets just off Denman Street. It's leasehold. So if you really want to buy leasehold, for half the price, you can buy in the West End concrete and for under $400,000. If that's what you want to do, that would be what I would buy if I was going to buy leasehold, because there you're getting a substantial discount of what freehold would be selling for in that neighborhood. These ones in the West End, that comparable unit in that location in the West End would be $700K, and here you can buy it for $400 or a little bit less, maybe $675 for the freehold version. So that, now you've got something that maybe is a value proposition there. I'm not sure if I'd buy it still, because it's leasehold and it's on a ticking lease, but it is, I think a much better value proposition. So do your due diligence, guys. Like I always say, be really careful out there. Pre-sale is bad enough, but getting into leasehold stuff, be very careful. Again, my personal opinion on this, I would not go near this. That's just me. Again, nothing against the developer. I'm sure it's going to be nice. The marketing company, hey, they're doing their thing. They've got to promote this stuff. They've got to sell it. But for me, my personal opinion, I just would not buy this. I just don't think the value is there. There's far better stuff in the freehold market, better locations, and at better prices, in my opinion. Case in point, the one I just gave you. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to all my new subscribers. I'll see you next week.